Hi, welcome to the new video. I am Rohit Desai, co-founder of GB Experts. In this video, we are going to understand what kind of a payment terms that we are going to use in our export-import industry. So we have options of multiple payment terms. The only reason is like your conditions or your situation will be completely changed. So based on your situation or your business model, you can pick the right payment terms and move forward. So the first payment term what we are going to look at is the advance payment, or we call it as prepayment. So before doing anything, even I have just got the order, I have not even procured the raw materials, I don't have anything such stuff, I am able to get the payments. The money is in my account and then I'm going to start procuring and then producing and preparing and then shipping, and then the dispatch is going to happen, and then later the buyer is going to get the materials. Out of this whole process, what we are currently looking at is the payment coming upfront. So here, this is ideal situation for an exporter. Why? Because without doing anything, you are having the money in your pocket. But it's very risky for the importer, because he is going to pay you upfront money. Either you can compromise on the quality, either you do not even send the materials to him, you can just abscond by getting the money to your bank account. So a lot of situations, a lot of challenges are there when it comes to these kind of payment situations. What we normally as a exporters, we always look at saying that, okay, I'll ask for 100% payment and I'll work only on 100% payment. What if your competitor is providing credits? So he will be getting 99% of the orders and you're going to get 1% of the orders. Then that business model may not really work for you. So look at to your industries and then you need to decide what kind of a payment models is suitable for you. Only then you can look for saying that, okay, let me work on this payment terms, only then I'll be able to get orders. So for example, JB Experts is exporting a turmeric powder worth of $20,000 to South African buyer. The ideal situation is JB Experts, because it's a first order. I have not done any prior business with the South African buyer. So I'll be waiting for a first order from him, but I'll ask for 100% payment in advance because there is a customization packaging is required. So to do that, once I receive the payment, and then I'll ship the whole spices to the buyer based on whatever the customizations, packaging, process, everything goes to. That is what I'll do. But the pros here is no risk of non-payment because I have already received 100% payment, so I don't need to worry on it. But in the other situation, I'll be having a cash inflow because I do not need to go to bank. I don't need to go to friends and families to borrow money to fulfill this order, because 100% payment is on the table, including your profit. So in that situation, this is the best. But the cons here is buyers may not agree to it because he is getting into a huge risk. So probabilities of getting an order on this situation is very minimal, or else there are a lot of people, what they do is they divide this 100 into multiple pieces. So it could be 10%, 20%, 30%. Later at the time of dispatch, it's around 50%. So if this is the dividation is going to happen, in that case, if I'm doing a advance payment model and I'm going to do a customization, then the possibility of saying that, okay, I may receive 30% as an advance payment to process the order. I start packaging and doing all of it. Once the material is ready, because that is when I'm going to receive the other payments. Once the material is ready, he may not respond or he may not lift your phone. In that case, you're stuck with the material and you have done customization in the saying that, okay, the packaging, what I have used to pack this 20,000 worth of material is going to be in his brand name. So I cannot sell the same packaging material to anyone else. So I'm stuck with them. So I have to get it sorted with him so that I can get my money. If just by taking 30% or 50% advance payment and you're doing customizations, even the advance payment model is also going to be a tough challenge for you. So you need to see that, okay, if I'm making a customizations, I need to get 100% payment upfront. Only then there are possibilities. But risk factor, again, what is the number of orders you can crack down there? How good reputations do you have in the market, and how well your customers trust you, or how well you are known in the market. Based on all of this brand awareness, only then people can take a call saying that, okay, Rohit, no problem, you take 100% payment, pack it up, and once it's ready, let me know, I'll book the shipping part. So if that things have been taken care, then no issues. If 100% payment is also not in hand, I have just taken 30% and the buyer is not responding to the call further, then I have done complete packaging on his branding, then that would be very difficult to cut open the boxes, again unbox the whole thing and then get the products in a bulk thing and then ship it to the different market. So that's going to be very difficult and there is a huge loss for both of it and you'll be losing money, time and money there. So because of storage, a lot of things goes into place. It's like, okay, he has already paid the advance. What's the worry for me? See, there is a lot of cost that is going to go there. 30% you have received the advance, but what about the next 70%? How long you're going to wait for him to respond back for just $20,000 business? You want to do multiple business, only then you're going to scale your business model. Or else it's just like idle situation saying that, okay, I'm just in the business just to make this 20,000 business. If that's the case, then yeah, you are in a very bad mindset. So you need to push it as per schedule, plus or minus a week, that's okay. But something goes beyond it, then you have to take a tough call. You need to say that these are the conditions. If the payments are not met on the schedule, we have to discard the whole material and we have to repack it. We have to discard the whole packaging and repack the material and send it across to the market at a discount. Because anyhow, you have already received 30%, you don't need to worry on the other part. So that has to be in the agreement. So a lot of things goes into the tech, or you need to say like, okay, when you are sitting on the negotiations, you need to communicate all of this. So there is no loop in your agreement so that the buyer can catch hold of you later. So if you do it all unpacking and then sold it in the 30% of the discount, then later the buyer is going to come to you saying that, yeah, give me the material, I'm going to send the payment. Then that's a problem for you because you have already unpacked it, you have sold the material to the other side of the market, then yeah, you may be not left with it. But the other part here is risk for the buyer is that if the exporter fails or if the exporter is not worthy or he's not trustworthy, exporter may ditch him in any orders point. So that could be a possibility. That could be the real fearing factor for an importer to deal with. Next payment term is the letter of credit. So this is the safest option for both the parties, where the bank comes in the mid, says that, okay, Rohit, you export the material of black pepper of 100,000 to Germany buyer. What we'll do is the buyer is going to get a LC at site, and he says like, my bank says to me that, okay, Adi, we have received the draft, come and approve it. Once you approve, submit all of these documents. Once the goods are ready with all the norms, what is being written, follow all the terms and conditions and get all the papers and submit it to us, you can get your money instant. So that is where I, as an exporter, don't need to fear of saying that, okay, will my buyer pay me money? Because bank is guaranteeing here, that is where we are going to work it around. It's not the bank of the buyer, it's the bank of your thing. It could be ICICI, Kotak, or whatever the bank you have it in Indian market who can support you on LCs. So these are the people who will support you to get your LC encashed. If something goes wrong with the documentations or something, they will advise you to get it sorted. If once you are done with 100% proper documentations, only then it will work. You work in a proper sense. Or else the value of a LC is just a piece of paper. It doesn't have any value without your supporting documents are attached to it. If your documents are missing, then there is no possibilities that you are going to get your payments. This is just a piece of paper and this is just a letter that says as guarantee but not acts as guarantee, because every documentation is what you need to provide that has to be fulfilled as per the draft of the LC. So here in this situations, normally the bank already collects the payment from the buyer, it keeps with them, and then once you submit these documents, then they are going to release the payment to you based on the documents which is being mentioned in the draft. So if you have never dealt with the LC before, if you need any support in that, please contact our team. We can support you in that manner. Then what does the bank do is they verify the documents and release your payment on site. So there will be no issues on that front. The pros here is it secures both the parties. So the buyer is confident saying that, okay, until you give all the proper documents, you are not going to get the payment. And you're more secure saying that, okay, if I submit all the documents based on the request, if everything is proper, then I'll be not having any issues because the money is not with the buyer. The buyer cannot ditch me here. I'll get the payment from the bank. So these are all something which can be facilitated. So this is very confidently used kind of a payment term largely in the international trades. So what is the dues here? Like what is the pros, cons here? Expensive, there is a bank fee. You may be not having so much of margins in multiple products, but still trust is the one thing that you don't trust both each other. Then in that case, it's better to have a bank fee paid and get it secured. And until, as I said, the value of this LC is nothing until you submit all the documents. So in that case, the complexity of documents and the compliances requirements are huge. If you miss around, even for example, if I have to tell you, you have to submit an invoice with 3 photocopies, but you just submit one, they will reject it. They'll ask you to get another 3 photocopies of it. So be careful, whatever the draft is being mentioned, please look through it and see whether you can fulfill all the documents. Only then you approve the draft of the LC. Only then you're going to start working. And major advice here is, if someone says you that, okay, you start working, I'm going to send you LC copy, do not do that. Until you have a draft in hand, you get to check the whole thing. Only then there is a next foot you're going to put forward to fulfill this shipment, or else you're not going to do that. The third option in export-import business is document against payment, which is normally we call it as COD, cash on delivery payment. So what you're going to do here is, as an exporter, you're going to ship the material first. Then the buyer is going to come to the bank and make the payment to their bank, and then he will collect the documents and go and later claim his goods. So for example, JB Experts is going to send a cardamom worth of 50,000 to UK buyer. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to ship the documents, I'm going to ship the goods, collect all the documents from the freight forwarder and all the invoices and everything, then ship it through my bank to the buyer's bank. Then the buyer comes to their bank, and then the bank hands over all the documents and get the payment from him, and then he will go to the port and get the consignment cleared, and then he can later go and sell it in the market. In this process, like safer than open accounts, like instead of giving credits, this is still better option. But the possible situation here is like, you will have the control of the goods, but what's the point if the buyer doesn't turn up? So your goods is there, you have already sent your goods, the buyer has promised you to come and pay at the bank, but he doesn't turn up. Then your situation is, your container is in the port of the other country at United Kingdom, but you have the ownership of the container, but what are you going to do with it? You have lost your control there. The container is in the other country, it's not even in your country, so that you can unpack it and do something else. It's already packed, went to the other country, you have just the hold of the documents which the bank of his bank is holding it. And if it doesn't turn up, then you are going to lose the complete thing. And if here, normally cardamom has a better shelf life. If imagine, instead of cardamom, it's onions or any perishable products, you are going to be in a deep shit. You are going to lose all your money, because perishable products has a expiry, and especially these veggies and all has a shorter expiries. So they can go bad in just like weeks. So this kind of a payment situation is not something I recommend, because there are possibilities that your buyers can play. Because I have seen people playing with my customers, saying that, okay, the goods are there, then they say like, Rohit, we don't have a market here, so we have to rework on the pricing. How come we can rework on the pricing when you have agreed to the price? Because you are stuck. He wants to take a leverage on it. So these are the situation where you're going to be screwed. So when you are into export-import business, it's not like a challenging business, but if you if you keep a loose loop, then yeah, someone will catch hold of it. So please do not leave any open ends, so that you get caught into it. So if something goes wrong here and there, later, okay, I'll decide, I'll hold back. I'll not give my control to the buyer. I'm not agree to any discounts. But there is a storage fees. I have a 7 days control of the container. After 7 days, there is a rent which is going to start. It could be 7 days, it could be 14 days based on your freight forwarder. But if you have that leverage and later you're going to lose the money there, then you have to start paying the rent, you need to find a new buyer. And the one pro tip what I can give you here is, do not mention in this payment term, I don't advise you to do it, but still if you want to do it in this payment term, the only thing what you can look at is, on the shipment documents, do not mention the buyer's name. just mention it to the bank. I don't say that, okay, $50,000, the whole money is going to come under a COD. But what I'm saying is, in this case, if I have to do it, maybe 10%, 15%, some payments have already come in advance payments. Then rest payment is on the, what do you call, document against payments or DP terms. In those cases, you can give that discount to someone else only when you have not mentioned the buyer's name on the documents. The document name is going to be to the bank, and normally in this scenario, it's better you talk to your CHA or your freight forwarders. They will make it sure that you do not get stuck in the other country, so that if something goes wrong, they are facilitating the whole thing. So this works very well for you. You can, if, for example, if you have a material there, you have a different buyers. If something like this buyer doesn't turn up on the time, then yeah, you can take the goods, sell it to someone at a discount price because you have already received some advance payments. If your buyer is not agreeing, just tell him that I have not mentioned your name on the paper, so I'll be selling the goods to someone else, and whatever the advance has come, I'll just dissolve it, I'll just keep it for myself, and I'll discount that money and sell it in the market. Are you okay with it? So the leverage, what he wants to use against you, now you can use on him. That's a flexibility what you can have. So just saying that, okay, I'm not going to give him until he gives me the payment, he can still make you to lose your money just by your storage charges and the delay fees. So be careful on that, because in global market, it's something like you need to be smarter than the other people, only then you will survive, or else it's going to be difficult. So let's jump into the next payment. So comparing to documentation against payment, documentation against acceptance is still more risky. So what happens here is, it's almost similar, but here the buyer is going to take the control of the documents at his bank, just signing an agreement saying that, okay, I'll agree to pay in next 60 days. That's a credit term what we have finalized. So it could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days based on it. But here he doesn't even give you a payment at the time of delivery. What he's saying is, I'll collect, you send the documents to the bank, I'll take the documents from the bank, and I will go and collect the goods, and I'll pay you after 60 days payment term. He just gives a letter of acceptance to the bank. That's all what it happens. Then later, if it doesn't turn up on 60 days, the bank is not liable to do that. They will not pay you anything if the buyer doesn't turn back. They may do a few follow-ups, but yeah, that's all what they have. Legally, they can't do anything big because they just have an acceptance letter. Apart from that, they can't really work on anything else. So it helps for us, like saying that, okay, this is a better payment options. I'll get few more orders. Yeah, that's possibilities there. The bank ensures all the paper documents transfer. So bank is in the mid. So you can get a better advice from the insurance companies. You can be taken care of that. But apart from that, you don't have anything to say. Then higher risk for the buyers, like he may fail, he may not pay you after 60 days. You need to wait for the time, you need to wait for the money, and later the bank says like, okay, your buyer has not turned up, so we don't have the money to pay you. So then it is very risky for the people who are your first time buyers. Do not deal with this option for a first timers, because here in the, at least in DP terms, it was the payment which was about to come on the table. But here he's going to walk with the goods out, and then later he's just promising you. For example, imagine this, you have ordered something on Amazon and you are a seller. Okay, your customer has also ordered something on Amazon. Now you're going to send the goods, but there it's saying like, okay, pay later option. So he is going to pay later, but you are not going to get any money at the point of time. He's going to pay later. It could be around 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. And later, if he doesn't pay what? Then there is a issue. They will not get the money. So these things comes into picture. But when it comes to Amazon and all, it's a bank thing. You will get your money upfront, but here you will not be getting anything. So be careful on this. Picking up these kind of payment terms will be a trap for you, so that you may get stuck with the payment terms. This is the most riskiest payment term what you can work with. If your buyer is not agreeing to any of the above payment terms, then you have to give credit. That's an open account. Open account in the sense you don't have any rights on the buyer. You're just sending your goods without any guarantee, without any assurance that you're going to get the payments. The buyer may say you that, okay, he'll pay in 30, 60, 90 days. Possibilities of honoring the agreement may be zero. So JB Experts puts the cumin seeds worth of 50,000 to a Dubai party. I send it across, and with a credit term of 90 days, The ideal situation is after 90 days, the buyer will transfer the money to JB Experts. If not, I'll get more buyers. You will never have, if you work on this payment term, you will never have a shortage of orders, because the orders will be coming, because people will be working for their profits with your money. So that is the situation. But when it comes to getting orders, you'll be having, you don't need to worry on the orders. Like, you'll be having enough of orders. A lot of buyers will be listening to you, whatever the agreements you have been signing, because the payment terms is like that. So you're offering the credit, they will take it, they will make the business to work, and then they will make the payment. Maybe like 2-3 orders will go well. Last order, fourth order, fifth order, at least one order goes for a toss of $50,000. I am sure that Cumin Seeds doesn't have that much of margin. All your $150,000, like $150,000 had come to you, but this $50,000 which you made a transaction, maybe that buyer has made a toss, then yeah, there is no money coming in. So you can't recover just by 3 orders versus 1 order. So at least you need to work on 25% margin. Only then you can sustain with it, or else it's going to be very difficult. So this is very high risky for exporters, because in advance payment, the buyer was on risk. Here, the seller is on risk. No guarantee of payments. If the buyer ends into any financial situations, or he go bankrupt, or he loses money, he may not get his money from the market. Then yeah, end of the day, it's going to come and bite you. You'll be not having any money on the pocket. So this situation is going to be a troubling thing. So normally I don't advise people to go ahead with this. Even then, just saying that, okay, sir, I'll not get orders in the market because my competitors are already providing it. A lot of people in onion business, they're already doing this. You can't go and compete to the Dubai parties who are again Indians, who are Indian origin. They are scamming Indians again, right? So the problem here is that, okay, my competitor is already providing a credit of $50,000 to a Dubai party. Even that party wants to import some more products from me for the same value or a higher value. But he wants it at an advance payment. Like, he wants to work with on an open account. It's a credit. So 100% credit, this is going to pull you down. Possibilities, you'll get an order. The ideal situation is he'll make the payment in the defined time, but there are possibilities that he may jump off. He may be a good buyer until you have trade with him, but later once you have done the trade, there are possibilities that he will jump off. So a lot of people have lost money in the international market, but just by doing this, and later saying that, yeah, you know what, export-import business is a gamble. Say it's your foolishness, you don't know how to do the business, then you have lost the money in the market just by trusting someone, keeping loose ends. Okay, what's the point of getting increased sales but no revenue? What's the point? Think of it. I'm having so many orders on my plate if I agree to a credit terms. But we normally go with a secured options, a safeguarded orders. I don't want orders, but I want the orders in my terms, so that at least if I want to reduce the price, yeah, I can go down. But I will never do the trades which involves credit and it is not secured. At least there are a couple of options if someone is dealing in this. What is the other options that in the upcoming videos we'll discuss, so that you will be, even if you work on open account, even then you will be secured. So we'll discuss on that in the upcoming videos. But this is not something, the payment term, that I work on, or I advise you to work on it. Consignment based payments. So consignment based payments is nothing but you are appointing a trade agent who is going to take some percentage of commission to get your products introduced to the market. He will sell the product first in the market and then later gets you the payment. He will keep his 5-10% whatever the margins you have agreed. So either you may pay him separately, or else he will debit the amount and send the rest amount to you. So these are the possible situations. So who are this ideal for? This is ideal for the people who wants to test the new market. I'm dealing in saffron of 1 lakh worth. I'll send it to a distributor in Canada and ask him to sell the products in the local market, and then later, once the goods are sold, you just take your cut and send my rest money. So ideal situation is the sales are slow. JB Experts will wait for a longer time to get the payment. But see, $1 lakh of payment is something like a huge number. Of that much level of saffron has to be sold in the market. It may take some time, but at the end of the day, what I get to know is there is a demand for saffrons in Canada and people are liking it. tomorrow, if I don't want to use the distributor, I can still let go the distributor. I'll appoint my own people. I put them, send the materials there. I'll establish my own company there. I'll do something else. Or else I'll start finding buyers saying that, okay, I have done already a worth of $1 lakh in your country with a distributor. So there was a good response. Would you want to work with me? Do you want to procure the products? So in that terms, then you can fluctuate your payment terms accordingly. But when you're working on a consignment basis, just appoint a distributor, because you don't need a buyer at the first. You need a trader who just manages all your thing, and he will pay you only when he get paid. So first, at the first, you know that, and okay, Rohit, if I have to do this payment term, what should I do? What should be my mindset? In this situation, what I say is, you don't deal in $1 lakh. You just deal in $100 or maybe $1,000 max. Send the goods out. See how the distributor is handling it, because the saffron is an air shipment. You don't need to go for a container shipments. If you take any other product also, I don't say just like saffron, you can take any example. If your products are not so heavy, it's not like, it's a good profitable margin kind of a thing. In saffron, we have a decent margins. We can go up to 30, 35, 40. Sometimes even we have seen the markets which has a very pure saffrons goes to 100% margins. So if you have that kind of benefits, what you can do is, you can look to a partner saying that, okay, this is my risk. If my $1,000 goes for a toss, I don't bother. So $1,000 is my bet I'm going to take to find a new market. If the market clicks, yeah, that $1,000 is my investment. Let me double it, then triple it, then keep developing the market, and then keep asking your distributor to work on a better terms with the traders, so that we may not continue with the credit terms. So look out for this opportunity so that you have a better upper hand. But if your $1,000 has gone for a toss, not $100, but your $1,000 have gone for a toss, then do you invest back with the same distributor, or do you want to try with the same market? Try out with some other options, but maybe this market is not liking it. You can ask the distributor to dispatch, to send back the goods back to India. I'll try to sell it in some other market. Whatever the commission he has to get, just pay him. He'll do the rest for you and send the goods back to you. Okay? At least you will occur less loss comparative to the whole loss. But yeah, if he has sold already to the local market, he has to get the payments. He may not have got it, so he may not pay you at the time. So you have to wait for some time and see, or else at some certain time, then you have to let go the whole money and say that, okay, this was a loss. I can't really trade in Canada, and the payment terms are not friendly, and the market is not accepting the product. That could be the reason. So it helps you to establish to the new markets in the foreign countries, and buyer doesn't need to invest upfront. So your distributor you're not asking them anything. You're just asking them to sell my goods first. You are having on your brand, because here it's completely on your brand. You're not going to do any customizations, because you're taking the whole risk. It's all your product. So you can brand it, promote your brand itself in the market, and then see how the things works. So what's the clause here? High financial risk. Whatever the inventory, what you're selling there, that can go for a toss. You may not earn anything there. So that possibility is there. And the distributor may delay the payments, or he may have got the money from the local market, but he has invested in something else instead of paying me. There is a trust factor. There is something can go wrong anytime. So these possibilities are right there in front of you. So you have to take a right call based on these situations, and then take a saying that, okay, do I need to do this in payment terms? Do I need such a people to work with? JB Experts is also a trade agent. We also help the companies who are there in Italy, Europe. We ask them to invest in Indian markets or Asian markets. We get their goods, we store it here. Soon we get the orders, we ship the products, and then once we get back the money, we send it to them. So there are a lot of opportunities are there, because they also get to see how we are working. They also get to see like, okay, what's the profit margins that they can make here in Indian markets. And we also get to see that, okay, the company is very supportive. We can work with them for a longer term, and with a bit of compromising on our commissions, still works well. So this is a win-win situation for a lot of people who are first timers who are entering into the business, or who wants to endorse their brand in the market. So this is the best opportunity what you can look at. Okay, the next payment term is the bank guarantee. Rohit, we have already discussed about LC. Again, why the bank guarantee? See, the bank guarantee is completely different from your LC, letter of credit. So in letter of credit, the thing here is we ship the product and then get all the documents, give it to the bank, and with the LC draft, they will check all the documents and give you the payment. That was the LC option. But when it comes to bank guarantee, it's like a assurance for both the parties, not only the seller. Because I'm sending it, I have to be secured. So I'm asking the bank to pay me. That is the LC. But when it comes to bank guarantee, it's like I can ask the buyer to get the bank guarantee, or either the buyer can ask me to get the bank guarantee, or we both can ask each other to get bank guarantees so that we can do a huge volume trade, right? So I'm exporting around $2 lakh to a Netherlands party, which is a spice export. So what I do is I approach my bank saying that, okay, performance bank guarantee. I just wanted the performance bank guarantee, and then I'll get the bank guarantee and send the copy to the buyer, and then he makes the transfer, which is 100% advance payment to my bank. Then later, I'll try to export the product, but I'll be not able to fulfill the whole shipment. Then there is a default. So then my bank will pay the buyer a complete default. Or if the seller is unable to fulfill the obligations, they will refund the whole money to the buyer, because the bank acts as a guarantee so that it's liability of the bank to pay him. Will they pay him from their pocket? No, they have to recover it from you end of the day. The bank is a business. It's not a charitable fund, right? It's not a charitable organization which is going to just pump in saying that, okay, Rohit, you don't have money, you have already used the money and you are unable to fulfill the exports, no problem, I'll pay it. No, he's not your friend or he's not your mother. So they will not take any obligations here. Whatever the guarantee they have agreed, they have given that guarantee based on something. It could be your performance, it could be your reputation, it could be your property attached or your something collateral, something should be there. Only then bank gives the guarantee, and then that bank guarantee acts as a security for the buyer to trust you, because he don't trust you at the moment. But when the bank gives a guarantee, then he starts trusting you, saying that if something goes wrong and you are the person who is not going to fulfill the order, then the bank will pay me. So the buyer has a complete security on the bank, so he is not going to lose anything. Okay, what if the buyer doesn't pay me? Why I am asking a buyer to have a bank guarantee? Today I am going to fulfill his order with a complete faith. I have exported exactly what he has asked, what we have promised. We have a quality check approval. We have done everything perfectly. Now the buyer is not going to make the payment, or it could be something like a credit in reverse. The buyer was about to make the payment, soon he receives the material, but he has not paid me. So what I'm going to do is, the bank guarantee, what he had got me, I am going to exercise it, saying that your buyer who has to make the payments, he has defaulted, so I want you to pay as has taken his responsibility to pay me. So then the bank of his, which is from Netherlands, comes up front, gives a check to JB Experts, make a transfer of the value which I own, so they will make the payment of that. So that's how the whole thing works. So this provides security for a large contracts. It cannot be like, okay, $1,000, $2,000, doesn't make sense. Builds both trust for both the parties, buyer and seller. So if the seller is not trusting me, I can get a bank guarantee to make him trust me, or else he can get me a bank guarantee so that he can trust me, I can trust him. So based on that, we can do a trade. So that works as a bank guarantee, because we both don't have trust on each other. Okay, let's trust the bank. So bank gives the guarantee, and then we can take the things forward from there. So bank will charge you a huge processing fees. As I said, bank is not a charitable organization. They are going to charge you a big amount. So that is what it is. But securing this money is better. It still makes sense paying the processing fees or any additional bank fees. So the export must be like they have a strict rules binding saying that, okay, both the parties' track record should be clean. Only then they will give you the guarantees. Only then you have to start working. So no payments or confirmations from the buyer. Until then, you are not going to process anything or move forward in these orders. The next payment term is factoring. I have done our transactions. I have exported around Phoenix Seeds to worth of 80,000 to a US party with a credit of 90 days. So now I will receive my payment only after 90 days. He may default also, but still ideal situation is like I'll receive my payment in 90 days. But within that time, I got a order from a UK party saying that he wants the same thing and maybe of a same value or more than the value of this, right? So what I should do? Either I have to go to the bank, friends and family to borrow money, pay the bank interest of business interest is somewhere around 16 to 18% in Indian markets. So will I pay that money to the bank and do the transactions, or else I have a unpaid invoice which I have sold to a US buyer at a 90 days credit. I'll go to a factoring company, ask them like, okay, this is an unpaid invoice. I want you to finance it. So that's as a mortgage. So normally you have a gold mortgage, you have a property mortgage. You just put it as a mortgage and then you raise the funds. So in this case, you're mortgaging the unpaid invoice. Don't be over smart try to fool the factoring companies by asking them for a paid invoice. They get to know it. But genuinely, if you are doing a invoicing, then if you have an unpaid invoice, go to the factoring companies. There are n number of factoring companies across the world. If you have any need of this, please go ahead and you can really get the funds for it at a discount of 5%, 2%, negotiable. Again, various countries has a very different models. You can pick any term and work with them to get your discounting. So factoring is always works very well when it comes to that. Okay, so for example, I have 20% margin in this products. Okay, so out of this 80,000, I have 20% margin. Still, if I pay this guy, a factoring company, around 5% at a discount price, still I'll be left with 15% margin. So what the factoring company do is they'll pay JB Experts immediately of $76,000. I have cash in hand. Now I can execute the new order. So I'll make again more of 20% of the profit. So 5% letting go and getting a 80% or 20% extra on the next order is still fine. No problem on that. So one, the pros about this, immediate cash flow, reduce financial risk for the exporter. Later, just imagine this. Your 90 days credit, what you are given to the US buyer, if he defaults, what's next? Your money is gone, right? So at least at 5% discount, that headache will be taken by the factoring company. But don't think this way, saying that, okay, the factoring companies are fool enough, I can fool them just by sending it to someone. They will do a background check of your buyer. They will verify him. They will check his track record, and then they will see that, okay, is it worth enough or not? The cons here is the exporter may lose the revenue, which is 5%. That's absolutely fine because I know it. The thing here is the factoring companies may reject high risk buyers. If the buyer has already defaulted, multiple payments on the multiple legal issues are already going there, suits are being filed against him, in those cases, the factoring company will not agree to pay you anything at a discount. They will just say that, Rohit, I don't think your buyer is worth enough. So he has already defaulted multiple buyers. I don't think that we can do this invoicing discounts. So automatically this payment term or at this delay, whatever happens to my upcoming order, I have to procure the money from somewhere else, but these guys are not going to execute it. So I'll be stuck with the bank or friends and family to borrow and start working on my next order until I get the payment from this buyer and give it to across. Forfeiting is almost similar to the factoring, so it's almost same, but this happens for a longer term, maybe not for 90 days, but maybe 1 year or 2 years, or even this can happen for a high value transactions. It cannot be like $1,000, $1 lakh. It should be in millions, crores, multiple crores, 10 crores, 50 crores, 100 crores. So this is the value that you are dealing in. Then you are exporting something to a European buyer. Then you're going to go for forfeiting companies and tell them that, again, same invoice saying that unsold invoice, these are the agreements what I have with the buyer, so I want you to fund it. But here, it cannot be like 5%, 2%, 10%, something like that. It can be anything on the lump sum amount finalizations. So that works on that. So if that can be done, so this works very well. It's a negotiable point of view, saying that, okay, if it's like multiple crores, right, it's $1 million what we are working on. In that case, it cannot be like in a percentage saying that, okay, I'll charge you 5%. That's a huge money. In that case, they will lock up to some number which you are okay with, and then they will encash the whole thing and give you the money, and then you can start, you have the money, again you can bring the money to your rotations and start working on it. So convert a long-term receivables into cash, reduce the financial risk. Again, these guys may default your payment, the European buyer, but in that case, you have secured here. But high forfeiting fees, because they are not going to ask you small money, because they are going to take a huge risk. In that risk, they also want to get a reward. So ROI has to be proven. So risk to investment ratios. Then use only for a large transactions. This doesn't work for a small transactions, anything less than $1 million. I'm a manufacturer who has a stock of ready-made some kind of snacks that has an expiry in a couple of months, but I'm trying to sell it in my local market. I'm trying to sell it in a global market. It's not happening. But what I do is, if I keep it here just idle, I'll be losing the entire stock. Instead of that, what I'll do is, I had prepared these products for someone else. I thought there will be a huge market demand, but I didn't get it. So what I should do, either I have to let the stock be here, go for expiry, then I have to discard it, or else I'll find a Malaysian buyer. What I'll do is, I'll go to him and I'll tell him, I have this much of stock, I'll send it to you. You don't need to pay the payment immediately. What I'm saying is, I'm going to send you a $100,000 payment, like goods. You don't need to pay me immediately, but you pay me in 4 installments. Like 25, 25, 25, something like that. So that will be not a burden for a Malaysian buyer. So it's like, okay, yeah, you send me the goods, I'll try to sell it. As I sell it, I'll keep making you the payment of $25,000 every month. So that comes for 4 months. That we call it as a supplier's credit. Here, bank is not involved because I already put the money there. The product is already in my warehouse. Instead of keeping and making it to expire and later I have to dump it. So at least I can work with a Malaysian buyer, send it to him. I can give him a credit, because if I keep it here, it goes for a zero in couple of months. If I send it there, at least I can take a risk. If I keep it here, even that is a loss for me. So either taking a loss, which is a guaranteed, at least I can take a bet saying that, okay, let me send it to a Malaysian buyer. If he pays me, that's good. Okay, what's the pros here? Increase sales by offering a flexible payment terms. That's one thing. But high risk here is, there may be a payment delays. That is still okay. But defaults, your money is gone. So what you can still satisfy is saying that, okay, I had given a try. I trusted someone. That's all what you can do. Or else you can take a legal case and then you can process it. But the situation is like, you need to pick a right payment term based on your situations. Your situation is different. Your payment term is obviously going to be different. You have a complete backup. You are a well-settled company. You don't need orders. You have regularly coming buyers who are very much assured, pays you upfront money, so no issues. Then you don't really looking for a new buyers where you need to juggle to get the orders, right? So in those situations, the payment terms keep changing as per your situation is. The last payment term, what we are discussing here, is the escrow payment account. So escrow payment account is almost similar like a bank guarantee. But here, you and your buyer cannot go with 2 different entities. You have to go with one single entity which you both agree. So it's a third party. For example, Raju and Ramesh don't trust each other. So they come to Rohit saying that, Rohit, you hold this money. Once Raju fulfills my commitment, once I agree to it, then you pay him. So I am the third party whom you guys are appointing to hold your money. So in the same manner, the bank, it could be bank. Normally it will be a bank or Alipay or something like that. What I'll do is, I'll go to ICICI Bank. Even my buyer is okay with ICICI Bank. So what we'll do is, we'll open an escrow account in the bank and make sure that we are doing 100 metric tons of black pepper with a new buyer in USA. So he is also okay with funding $200,000 to a escrow account which holds in ICICI Bank in Bangalore. Then what I'll do is, I will start procuring the material. I'll not get the money. It's a mirror money. What I can say is, like, you can see the money in the mirror, but you cannot touch it. You can see it, but you can't touch it. You can't take it. The money is right there in the escrow account. So what you have to do here is, you need to get the procurement, pack it, label it, get the certifications, and do the shipment, and then submit all the documents to your buyer through the escrow account. So what the escrow account holding company will do is, the bank will do, they'll collect all the documents as per agreed. They will check all the documents, send it to the new buyer in United States. Then he will give a NOC stating that you can release the payment to JB Experts. There is no issue from my end. Then all the escrow money, what is there in that bank, that account will come to my bank account. That is the whole cycle. Because I don't trust each other, but I want to see, keep the money on the table, I'll ship it. I don't want the money, but at least show me the money. So the buyer is showing the money in the escrow account. And this money cannot be taken back without your information or your confirmations. Okay, in the ideal situation, you can take a hypothetical situation. JB Experts is not able to procure 100 metric tons of black pepper, which was a commitment. Now what I say, okay, I'll go back to the buyer and the company whom we have appointed. I'll tell them that, sorry guys, there is no stock in the market. I cannot do 100 metric tons. We have to revise it, or else we have to cancel the order. I'll give it in writing, no objection, to the escrow account holder, saying that please return back this money to the US buyer because I'll be not able to fulfill the commitment. So then all the money goes back to the buyer. If he would have paid me the upfront money, I would have kept it and I would have keep playing that without procuring the material. So by escrow account, he has secured his interest, stating that, okay, I'll not pay the money until you ship me the goods, or once I give a confirmation, only then this money is going to hit the bank or your bank account. So this is the safest option, which is very much in these days the people are using it, but yeah, the fees and everything comes with a price. So every bank will charge you based on the transaction fee. There is no flat fee kind of a thing. Please check with your banks, whomever you're working with, if they have support. Yeah, pretty good. Normally the buyer is going to ask to hold the escrow account in his country or his banking system. But at the end of the day, it's with the conditions, it cannot be played around with anyone else, right? So inspection, approvals of the shipment, and then later the funds will come in. So secure both the parties, buyer and seller. If I will fulfill the commitment, I'll get the money. If I am not fulfilling it, then the payment goes back to the buyer. Simple as it is. Secures both buyers. Buyer has the funds before shipment. You get to see that the money is in front of you. You can't touch it, but you can see it. So that's the advantage here. You're not dealing with someone who doesn't even have the funds with him. He's just saying that he has funds but he may not be dealing in it. So when it comes to saying that, okay, escrow account is a huge fee, you need to check with the bank, what's the amount, and then you need to finalize it. Payment delays if the buyer raises a dispute in the shipment. I have sent the black peppers, but quality what I have promised, that is not up to the standard. Then the buyer will come back to the saying that, JB, Rohit, see, I have asked you for 100 metric tons, you have sent it 100 metric tons, but the quality what you have promised me before, it's not the same. So now I'm going to send you the goods, you need to do the shipment, only then I'm going to approve you the $200,000, or else this is not going to work. So money will be stuck, your business will be stuck, but your demand, the buyer's request has to be executed, or else the dispute has to be resolved, stating that, okay, I can't do a reshipment, but you tell me how much you are ready to pay. Then the negotiation starts. Then he says like, okay, instead of making $200,000 payment, I'll do 180. So either I have to make him a payment of $20,000 and then get the release of the $200,000 payment. So these are all the scenarios comes into the real practical business when you're dealing into it. So these are the options what you had for your export-import business as a payment options. Choose it rightly with the right mindset. If you need any consultations, you want any support in saying that, so what is the right payment terms for my business? How should I work on it? Or if you need any kind of a support, you can talk to my team. We can support you. You can take a complete one-to-one consultation with me and I can help you with all the payment options and which suits your need. I'll guide you through the whole process and then we can work it around. So we are an export management company with the proper consultations can be provided to all the companies in India and abroad, supporting with getting the products to India or making the payments outside, whatever it is, we can help you with that. So if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Thank you so much. Catch you up in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.